Was in her teens. She used to be Maggie Clapp, and now she's Margaret Clapp.
Well, I mean, did you look under both those names?
Yes, we have. See, I've looked under Brooks, Clapp, any name we could think of.
Well, then where were you born?
The 25, and I got.
No, I know what year, where.
But I got very depressed. I began to wonder if I was born in 1925.
And
so I went
doubts
back
in her mind as to when her real birthday really is.
And I went back at pictures, old pictures. I got a picture of myself down at Grandma Brooks's down at her grocery store on Balboa Island, and I was in a boat out in the water. And that picture had me 4 years old, and that I was born in 1925. May 4th, 1925. And every picture I've got out has been that day.
May 4th, 1925.
But I'd come back from their house, and after looking at records they had, and I'd think, well, maybe I wasn't born then. Maybe that isn't my day. Because Mother always said, Mother and Dad, that they were married in September of 1923. But Dad never came to California until 1923. That's when he came to California. So he came to California and evidently just married Mother, according to their stories. You see what I'm saying?
Well, where did he say he met her?
In Los Angeles, an old friend of his. She worked cleaning house. She was pregnant. And she worked cleaning house for an old friend of his. And they introduced them and everything, and
yeah, she was already pregnant when she met Grandma.
Right.
Yeah. And that we have found out.
Yes.
So do you think they got married before or after you were
But
born
I'll
then?
tell you something that I know now that I realize now that I didn't realize at the time. We went over there one weekend, and Margaret and Joe and Bill and I, and we went over there, and Mother and Dad had been cleaning out the attic. And we kept saying, well, what are you doing in the attic? Well, we're getting rid of old papers and stuff, you know. Yeah. And they were cleaning out the attic, and I've always said that those records were up there.
See, the assumption was
Would you think maybe you weren't born in the hospital then?
Oh, I know I wasn't. I'm pretty sure I wasn't.
Oh yeah, if she'd been born in the hospital, there'd be public.
Well, that's what I mean. That's
Mother only had one of us in a hospital, and that was Dick.
Oh, okay.
the as far as trying to figure out whether or not Grandma and Grandpa were married when she was born, the idea was that if they had been married, she would have had a birth certificate with Grandpa's name on it.
Okay, so you're thinking they got married
Well,
after.
and we couldn't even find a marriage license.
No.
Oh,
so
really?
The idea is that they got married when she was a tiny baby. And then that's when Grandma decided to keep the secret, and Grandpa swore to keep the secret, blah, blah, blah.
Oh, it's a disgrace.
Yeah. And they just covered everything up. And I mean, she did a good job of covering everything up.
Yeah, well, and see, what happened was that we went to Mexico. We went down to honey, where did we go in Mexico?
La Paz.
La Paz. You know, just before you get down to Cabo San Lucas. Yeah. And we went down there, and we went with Larry and Teresa and another couple. The three of us went down there for 5 days, and we just had a ball. But anyway, I went to Mother and told her that would she give me my birth certificate, because I had to have my birth certificate to go down. I didn't have to have a passport, I mean a visa, passport, but I had to have my birth certificate. And she says, oh, okay, I'll get it for you. And so it was a week or so later that she gave me my birth certificate. She and Blanche went to LA, and what they did was, that's when they brought me the certificate of baptism, and I didn't even look at it. I thought it was a birth certificate. And it looked like, I still have it, it looks like a birth certificate. And so I never questioned it.
So is that accurate? Like, They would have
No.
a baptism day.
You could, that,
Yeah, because see, I know when I was baptized when I was about 15 years old.
but see, that's all she knows, is when she was baptized.
I would
She
think-
still doesn't have anything accurate or guarantees her birthday.
Right.
She has nothing that tells her her biological father's real name.
Right.
I feel
It's-
very strongly that he lived in Laguna. I feel very strongly. I used to go downtown Laguna and go to the bank or something, and they'd say, "Oh, you were just in here."
Oh,
Yeah,
you have relatives walk around look like you.
I had a double somewhere in Laguna.
Well, and Laguna was so small, I'm surprised you didn't run into him.
Yeah, I know.
You know?
I know. And this happened a lot, you know.
So it would be weird that they would change your maybe the year, but the actual day. So it's got to be May 4th.
I think
Maybe
it,
a
I
year.
know. I think that I was born May 4th, 1925. I don't think Mother and Dad were married
Right.
in September of 1923. I think they were born like 25 or 26. Married 25 or 26 is what I think.
Oh.
Yeah, we couldn't find a marriage
I think
certificate
that
with their names on it either.
their
Well, that would
marriage
have to be a record.
is the
somewhere.
lie.
Well, the thing
Not
is,
my birthday.
back then,
Yeah, that's what I think too.
back
That
then
would
the
make more
government
sense.
wasn't so stingent on making sure there were
All the
records,
records
of
for
everything. They
everything.
didn't have records.
They didn't,
And if
yeah.
you were birthed at home, it's
And-
just oh, you, oh
Well, then you just
okay.
get a live birth eventually
Yeah,
sometime.
you just somewhere wrote, oh yeah, we
Yeah,
had
but
a
see,
baby.
Carol was born. Carol was born in a house in Laguna, right up above the pageant of the Masters, and I was 6 years old, and she was born, and there's records of it.
I know your brother told me that scared him to death.
Oh,
when she was
really?
born. He kept seeing sheets coming out of the room with blood all over. He didn't know. He didn't understand.
Well, none of us
you know,
did.
you
but
were
we
6,
little.
so
I
that
was
put
6.
him
He
at
was
about 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just petrified him. He's told me
Yeah.
that before. That just scared him to death.
Yeah.
He didn't understand what was going on, so.
And unfortunately, it wasn't like a
But
census
if you remember,
year.
I
Like you
sent
could
off
maybe
to
have
the-
figured out something from census data.
But my mother was real good at making people not talk.
Yeah.
Apparently so.
Yes.
She put the fear of God in him, is what she
Yeah.
did. She was ornery like Uncle Dick was. And
Oh,
which
that's
he,
where he got his personality from.
Yeah.
Oh,
I've heard him tell stories
I want you
about
to know
that.
Dick is a lot like Mother.
a
Yeah.
lot.
lot like Mother.
Worries and does what he wants to do, and
Then I didn't. There were times I didn't get along very good with Mother. I had to stay
you
away
had your
for a
problems
while.
with your brother too, which
Oh yeah.
understandable, you know. but-
Yeah, like I was telling him last night. That I was telling him last night. He kept saying I was the boss. When Mother and Dad had their 50th anniversary, I was 47 years old. I had just had the hysterectomy, the ovarian cancer. And I was recuperating, and I was working on this with Donna. You know, we made the centerpiece, which was money, all money. You know,
I think I remember seeing a picture of
and
that
she
somewhere.
thought it was a bouquet. We left it on the table, and
Oh,
Donna
she couldn't
thought it
see
was.
then. Yeah.
Yeah, and she couldn't figure out. She was shocked when she found out it was
Yeah.
money. And Bill made big styrofoam wedding rings with flowers and stuff in them to put in the pool, float in the pool, and we made all kinds of stuff. But anyway, we did all this. But anyway, Dick was bringing some slut to the party.
Lee? Lee? Was it Lee?
No,
Oh,
no,
okay.
and mother and Donna and all of them didn't want Dick to bring that, and so Donna, no, it wasn't Sash. It was I don't even know her name. He never went with her very much, you
He
know.
never went with anybody very
Yeah,
much.
but anyway,
Very long.
he wanted to bring this woman, and I guess her clothes were up to here, and I guess she
That
was.
sounds like Lee.
Maybe it was, but I
It had
don't
to have
know.
been
I don't think so.
I think
I knew
he told
Lee.
me that.
I knew Lee. But anyway, to get back to my story, he wanted to bring this woman, and so Donna called me, and she says, Dion, why don't you call him and tell him that he can't do this, not to bring this woman to Mother and Dad's party. I says, I'm not settling your problems anymore.
So to Donna,
After all, I'm not, you guys are grown and I'm grown. You can settle your own problems. And so then a little later, Dick calls me. Dion, would you tell Donna?
leave me alone.
No, would you tell Donna that I want to bring this lady and everything? And I had to tell him the same thing. But I was almost 50 years old and they're still
I
calling
know,
me.
but you know
to
what? You
settle
were
their-
the one
Huh?
that was almost like the parent.
I know.
And so
I know.
that, I mean, when they would have these problems, they go to Dion.
Yeah.
And I
No, they
can't
all
tell
did.
you how many times
That's
I
what they're
have seen Uncle Dick call up Dion because he's upset with one of the kids. Or
Yeah, I
just
know.
to talk.
I
He
know.
did for years and years and years. Yeah, and that's because she was the authoritative figure in their household during
Does
the day.
he know
so
Dick? Is Dick in here?
He's
Nope.
probably
He's
outside.
right there.
Oh, I see him.
He's
Is
sitting
he
there
doing
puffing on a cigar.
Ain't he smoking cigars? Gee. Awful. And he never smoked. He
Nope.
never smoked. He never drank.
He
Nothing.
does. He still doesn't drink. Well.